Welcome back with a new subject. Who is a mediator? A very interesting question. Can anybody be a mediator? Can a mediator choose his case? Can mediator go on saying that I'm here, I'm available? Can he solicit work as a mediator? Let us try to discuss this in this chapter. Mediator is a personality by himself. Mediator has to maintain high standard of credentials and ethics. It may not be easy. You have to acquire it over years of time. People should recognize you as you are a man with credentials that they can trust you. People should have faith in this system of mediation and the mediator. They should repose confidence in you, and that they should feel that yes, here is a man who can be trusted and who can be probably competent to handle my dispute, my conflict. In a system where judges are appointed, arbitrators are appointed, or any other legal mechanism, the choice of the adjudicator, judge, is not with the individual, a litigant. It is not so in mediation. It's a mediator, it's a party who decides as to who should be his mediator. Mediator need not be always qualified in all the subjects which he deals in the mediation. Maybe has certain skills which is exclusively required for mediation, which is required, and he has it. It may be an issue relating to construction, where there is a dispute between there is a dispute between a owner and a contractor about the quality of work. Usually, a mediator could be an architect who has the knowledge of the construction, the materials used. So the credentials of the architect is more important here. Of course, ethics is common to all, the same ethics has to be followed. We'll see what is that ethics little later. In a dispute which is between a banker and a customer, it could be that a retired banker could be a good mediator. He is now out of the office, therefore he is not having any conflict of interest, and probably in a dispute where a customer finds that his accounts have been not properly audited or accounted, he can approach the banker who is retired officer of the bank, who can be a good mediator to sit between the two parties. Similarly, in a dispute between patient and a doctor about medical negligence, it could be a senior doctor who is a practicing doctor who could be an effective mediator. The parties choose that this man is competent to deal with their issue. So the choice of the mediator is by the parties. The choice of the mediator is not by the mediator. Please note, if you are well known in the society, if you are respected, the people come to you and ask you to mediate their dispute. If you are in a flat, residing in an apartment condominium, it could be that the dispute is pertaining to some construction within the compound of your flat. Then probably there is a conflict of interest. Maybe it is not advisable for you to be a mediator there because you are yourself interested in the outcome of the mediation. So the choice is by the parties who choose you. You do not choose them, or you do not go beyond them, saying that I will be a mediator to you. I was saying about conflict of interest. We took one or two instances to understand what is conflict of interest. You are a principal of a college. A student of your college and a student of another college have a serious dispute, serious difference. Maybe they approach you, both of them approach you. Now the question is, you being a principal of a college where one of your student is a disputant, is it proper for you to mediate? Is there a conflict of interest? According to me, yes, there is conflict of interest, because the other disputant, who is a student of another college, may always be having in his back of his mind, that you could be probably influencing or helping the other disputant who is your student. Therefore, it is not advisable to be a mediator in such dispute. We'll take another example. You are a doctor and you are asked by two other doctors who are your own colleagues about a dispute which is about their professional ethics or their professional conduct. You know both of them very well. You are suggested by them, and you could continue to be a mediator, because there is no difficulty in continuing to be a mediator, as there is no conflict of interest. Both disputants being doctors and you being a senior doctor probably are the most appropriate person to deal with it. The conflict of interest may not come in here, I feel, and therefore you as a mediator can always use that role and continue to play the role of a mediator. We will take one more example. You are living in an apartment with 100 units. There is an issue between the two of your flat inmates about keeping a dog in their house. One of them says that the pet dog which is kept by the neighbor is causing nuisance. You also have a pet dog in your house. Now the question is, both parties come to you, namely your apartment neighbors come to you, ask you to mediate between them. Question is whether you can continue to mediate, because you have a conflict of interest. Namely, you too have a pet dog in your house, and probably that would influence the person who has no pet in his house, or who is complaining about the pet in the neighbor's house. He feels uncomfortable, or he is likely to feel that you are probably prejudiced. So conflict of interest has to be seen before you accept any responsibility. Please note, mediator role is not a status. It comes with a huge responsibility and expectation. So please understand your role, accept it, and continue to do it. Because at any given time, if one of them feels uncomfortable or feels that you are not competent, the entire matter could be scuttled and the mediation may be terminated, and it may bring bad name to the concept of mediation. As a mediator, you are an ambassador of the concept of mediation, and you should abide by these very, very clearly. Mediation has to always happen in a neutral place. Mediator has to be a neutral man. If there is a dispute between two persons in respect of a college, delete. Okay, I have said that, it's okay. I'll continue. A neutral venue is always important in mediation. Sometimes the parties suggest that the discussion about mediation can take place in their own place, that is to say, one of the disputants' place. It is better avoided. It is always to be done in a place which is not under the control of any one of the disputants. Now, coming to the mediation room, we will assume that it is a private mediation where the two parties who are the disputants are coming to your place where you have set up the mediation room. Firstly, it should be a neutral venue. The venue, namely the mediation room, should be independent and prominently positioned in your building or your house or your office. It should have a separate entrance where their parties can easily access to your room. Let there be neutrality expressed, exhibited all over. I can give an example here. Maybe you are keeping certain wall hangings or certain papers which give an impression that you are not neutral. The parties who have come before you may not be comfortable continuing with you. So keep this in mind. Keep a clean background. Keep it free from, keep a clean background. Exhibit neutrality. The parties should not let the furniture and fixtures be similar. An example could be, if there are four chairs, let the four chairs be similar, same color, same height, so that the parties who are sitting across the table do not feel different. Ensure that the room has privacy. Avoid third party movement in the mediation room. Let the parties feel that they are given the importance, there is privacy, and they are free to discuss confidential issues. Usually, the mediation room is to be done by a wall partition, which is a thick one, so that what is transpired in the mediation room doesn't go out. Some of the mediation rooms I see they are separated by aluminum partition or curtains, which is not conducive. Let there be less openings, I would say, that is to say less windows, so that there are not many people listening outside. The feeling that the parties should get that I'm comfortable here and there is no room. I'm comfortable here and I can continue to be free and express freely in the mediation. This feeling should come to them. Please do not record the mediation proceedings, because entire proceedings in mediation is confidential. There is nothing to be recorded. If at all you require, you can make notes of whatever is relevant, nothing more. Dress code. What is the dress the mediator has to wear? It should be some presentable dress. If you're an advocate, avoid black coat. If you're a doctor, avoid white coat. That is to say, avoid your professional uniform. Please note, you are a mediator. As you are a mediator, you are not an advocate or a doctor, and your past will be immaterial. When you are wearing a hat of a mediator, when you are donning the role of a mediator, you are not that. You are only a mediator. Your past should not be linked to your role here. Always maintain time discipline. If the mediation is set at 10 o'clock in the morning and both parties are expected to come, you be at time. You do not come late. You be there well before the time. Wait for the two parties to come. Yes, the time set is 10 o'clock, but it could be that one of the party comes little late. It is better that you wait for him, because if you entertain one of them who has come early and start mediation, the impression which may be created on the other is something which may not be acceptable to the mediator, acceptable to the party. Therefore, wait until both the parties come, then begin. But you maintain the time discipline. You set this time. You can always say that today we are meeting between 10 to 11, so that they block the time and maintain the time limit, time discipline, and come to you with preparedness. This is important. Always see yourself from the eyes of the party. What if you are a party and you are going before a mediator? What is that you would have expected from the mediator? It's the same feeling here. Always see yourself from the angle of the party. Who would expect certain things in a mediation by a mediator. Try to visualize that and try to maintain that decorum. Set up a congenial atmosphere. Always try to control the process. Do not allow crosstalk. Do not allow emotions to hijack the mediation. Control the entire process. Make the parties to speak one at a time. And if there is anything which has to be exhibited or pointed, let them note down. Make their own notes and always can they reply afterwards. There is no need for both the parties to create commotion or use language which are likely to be offensive. If you can afford them food and beverages facility. The idea is that the parties who are in your mediation, they feel comfortable. If they are comfortable, then that's the first starting point, I would say, for the mediation. When the parties are comfortable, the rapport builds up, the congenial atmosphere sets the mediation tone, and parties are free to discuss in mediation. There are certain general observations. Now the mediation is going on. The disputants are regularly appearing in your mediation. Avoid meeting those parties or their relatives and friends outside the designated mediation place. Do not meet them anywhere as far as possible. If they happen to meet, please avoid discussing about the mediation. Once the mediation is over, withdraw from the mediation physically, mentally, and legally from the role. That is to say, do not carry that information, do not keep that issue in your mind, or do not take any role after that. Please note that once you are a mediator always, and therefore you have to maintain the confidentiality and neutrality all through your life. It could be that sometimes a party has made certain expressions, confessions, which are made exclusively in a private session with you. They are very confidential things for a party. Maybe the mediation is over, the mediation is successful. It doesn't mean that you can reveal the confidential information anytime outside to anyone else. No, it's a strict no. So you have to maintain that confidentiality. You have to also maintain the same neutrality both during the process of mediation and also thereafter. Because once you are a mediator, you are always a mediator. Therefore, the mediation may be over, but you still continue to be a mediator in the eyes of the parties, and therefore maintain the same neutrality all through your life. It could be that you meet the same parties or one of them sometime after few years in a different context. Avoid being close to them, avoid being close to them, and avoid the same distance which you had maintained, because you do not know how the other party may view it. Keep that in mind all the time. If during the mediation one of the party is not comfortable with you as a mediator and indirectly or directly expresses that he doesn't want to continue with you, what would you do? Please withdraw from the mediation. You may be right, the party may be wrong, but it's not for you to justify and try to say, no, I'll continue with the mediation. Party may have some apprehensions. He may be having that apprehension which makes him to say or feel that you are not good as a mediator, or it is not safe to continue with you as a mediator. Whatever be the reason, accept it and withdraw from the mediation. Do not try to prejudice the interests of the parties. Do not try to curse the parties and to say, no, I'll continue, and don't hang on with the mediation. Just withdraw, allow the parties, say goodbye, thank them, wish them good luck, let them continue mediation elsewhere. The mediation, as far as you are concerned, is terminated and your role ends there. So in short, mediator is important in mediation. It's the mediator who would be deciding the status of the mediation. The parties are comfortable only if the mediation is good, the mediator is good. Therefore, all the responsibility of the mediation, the conduct in the mediation, depends on the mediator. Therefore, he should strictly go by the roles which he has to play and accordingly adhere to it to see that mediation goes smoothly. Mediation takes place smoothly. Thank you.